All that health data are living in silos, disconnected from each other. It's so hard to make sense of your health overall. I would love to live long, but I don't want to live long and sick. I want to live a healthy life. Mentally, physically, socially, emotionally. A future that people hold their own health into their own health. Because, people are like sick of tracking. They don't want to see these numbers anymore. They're like, just tell me what to do next. Everything in the current system is designed to make you sick and kill you like at a certain age, because insurance companies don't want to pay for you. You look at the food system, the food is actually like the main thing that's killing us. I feel like we're losing our virginity. Like we're like giving so much to AI. There's no off switch anymore.
Do you see the future in which we don't need doctors? Welcome, Cansu. Thank you for coming on the show. Excited for our conversation. Why don't you give listeners a quick intro, who you are and what you do? Yeah.
Thank you so much for having me. I guess I am a health and wellness addict at this point. I was born and raised in Istanbul. I lived in New York for about 13 years. I studied at Parsons for design and innovation. But I have always been really into health and wellness, I guess, and creating things for like meaningful things for humanity. That was my purpose in studying innovation, actually. And when I graduated, I created an innovation company. It's called Contemp Co, Contemporary Innovation Company. And that was actually a project to basically work on things that made sense for the world, like in a good way. I remember like one of my design professors asked us like, is technology neutral? Like when you design something,
right?
Like, is it neutral, like, and that's something that was stuck with me. When I graduated, I was like, whenever I like worked on a project or did something, I always thought like how it's gonna affect the humanity. And so while Contemp Co kind of like started off as a more like a creative agency, my heart was always into things that had a good impact on people. And as someone who had several like health issues as a baby, when I was 2 years old, I went through a bunch of stuff. And also like living in between different countries, having my like health data in different places and all that, like I always thought about this whole like health system around the world. And I think that like over the years it kind of like built up inside of me. I also spearheaded a couple of like health initiatives, sold a couple of like business models to some companies in the health space, but I was never really like ready to like take off as a health entrepreneur until like 3 years ago, when my partner Dan Cashman came to me with this idea that was like, for me, was like love at first sight. I heard it, and as I told you before our podcast, like I was ready to move to Europe, and I was like, when I heard about this project, I was like, okay, it's time to do this. It's my calling, and so yeah. Long story short, sorry, like you asked me a quick question, and I like kept on going.
No, it's great. So what is that idea, and what are you working on now?
So it's actually very much aligned with my experience living in between two continents. He was like, look around, like all that health data are living in silos, like disconnected from each other. And which basically means that a lot of people are like confused, like there's a disconnect basically, and it's so hard to make sense of your health overall. People
disconnect between what?
Basically there's a disconnect between your health data living in hospitals in your devices, as well as what you know of yourself, and what it is, and even between different doctors that you go to. So health is like not like a holistic, it's not like a holistic picture, everything is like this fragmented. So we were like, how can we bring all that data together to make this super like complex thing simple for people so that they can make sense of their health. And that's how Sense came out, our company Sense. We decided to, again, like simplify it for people. And Sense is really a scoring system that we created that consists of the 5 holistic like pillars of longevity. And if you think of the word sense, it literally represents sleep, exercise, nutrition, social, and emotional. So like 5 main pillars of longevity. And that's how we believe that you should be looking at your health across these 5 main pillars. So we created this scoring system, which we like to use as a framework to learn as much as possible about your biology, your data, your lifestyle, your like epigenetics factors. And so it works in a way that it's effective as much as like it's connected. And if as people come into this app, they will be checking in daily. And one thing that I also realized along this process is that when you look at all these other apps, there's a there are big data gaps, meaning these devices don't really know, like Apple Watch or Fitbit, Whoop, like they don't really know what's happening in real time. Say like last night something horrible happened, like there was a loss in my family, let's say. None of these devices will know about it unless I check in or unless I'm like talking to them.
Right.
So one of our main questions as we're building this was, how do we humanize the technology in a way that people really engage with these devices or apps or whatever it is, and so that we can obtain as much information as possible from you so that we can guide you better. So how it works, I didn't talk about this, is that once you get your sense score, your longevity score, you get a personalized like longevity report. And the AI basically guides you through like basically it gives you daily recommendations on what you should be doing based on your objectives. Say when I'm 80, I want to be able to do this. When I'm 90, I want to be able to do that. Like based on your objectives, it'll tell you like what you should be doing. So,
but most people would have a fairly similar objective, is to stay as healthy as long as possible, I would imagine.
Right. Or some people are like, oh, I want to be able to continue hiking, or I want to be able to hold my grandchildren. But yes, like, or, so yes and no, I guess. But some people, I mean, it's also like maybe some people are more like, oh, I want to be mentally like, in a good shape, or some people have more like physical goals. So that's how like AI will like shape your recommendations.
And then what kind of inputs are you collecting, and how are you collecting that?
So again, daily check-ins are extremely important for us. Sleep, exercise, nutrition, social, emotional. We made them very easy for people to check in. And then data integrations.
It's like a self-assessment type?
So it's just like a really easy check-in, but also we connect. You can connect your Apple Health. In this version that we have right now, and the more coming, you will be able to like upload your blood work, your prescriptions, like everything. So there's gonna be a place where you can upload any PDFs basically. And so that's how we learn more about you. And eventually, like, we don't want you to be like going into your apps like Whoop, Fitbit, etc. to like check in daily, because people are like sick of tracking. They don't want to see these numbers anymore. They're like, just tell me what to do next. So that's what we want to do. Like we don't want you to be like going through your apps and try to figure out, okay, what this means, what should I be doing, what am I doing, and what am I doing right, what am I doing wrong. We just want to like tell you like what to do next. And so we want it to be as simple as this. And that's what people want. Again, like they're sick of seeing these numbers.
So are you then not really focusing on creating like easily digestible dashboards, you are abstracting it to the level of just AI through voice or whatever, telling you, hey, this is kind of where you are, this is maybe what you should be doing, or
you will always have a kind of a dashboard to keep you on track, again, like across these 5 main pillars, because you get a score, like a longevity score, the sense score, but then you can go into each pillar to learn more about like what your score is out of 100 for sleep, exercise, nutrition, social, emotional. So you can, and basically, like, let's say you need to work more on your sleep, the AI will give you more guidance on sleep, and you can improve that pillar. So that's kind of like how we look into it. But yeah, again, like you also like may choose not to like keep track of those scores. It's again like made it so easy that you're just told, and also your objectives are important. So if your objectives are mainly around sleep for the short-term period, let's say, then the AI will be giving you more recommendations on that. Eventually, we will also launch our marketplace where you will be able to like shop sleep products, let's say, if you're like working on sleep.
Right. Yeah. And so you said it's from a 0 to 100 score?
Exactly.
What's your score?
Mine is around 78 right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that...
I think I'm lacking some social. I've been working a lot.
Social? Oh, it tracks that too?
Yeah. So, yeah, we have social as well. And actually, I just launched my new account, new blog called the No BS Wellness. And I was just talking about the loneliness of trying to do everything perfect, because I feel like this whole wellness trends can also push you to a place where you're like so strict with everything, including your sleep. Like, okay, I have to be in bed by like 9 p.m. So how are you going to socialize, you know? Right. So I'm trying to be a little bit more flexible now, and that's what my score is showing me.
Okay, so I'm trying to understand the depth of information, like how much does the system know about you? So most of it is collected through what's already in use, like our smart devices, like Apple.
But there's an AI chat, so you can engage with the...
Right, but the AI chat needs some kind of input. So like the input is based on you at the end of the day, maybe predefine what happened to you throughout the day.
So you go through each pillar for check-ins.
In addition to it pooling is the main source your own survey type input, or is it mainly...
When you sign up, you take a survey.
Okay.
And you can also upload your health data or your, any PDFs. But after that point, you have the daily check-ins and your data coming from your Apple Health at the moment.
Right. I've always thought, why not include data points like your calendar, for example, with your health data. Like oftentimes, the health data, yes, you see the graphs, but you have no reference. Like, okay, I don't understand what even happened throughout that point. But I think having a calendar attached or some way to know exactly what you were saying, like throughout the day, what exactly happened in that moment? Why did your heart go up? Let's say, maybe every time you speak to this one person, your boss or something, or every time you speak about a particular topic, maybe you have a meeting on the specific topic, your heart goes up or something like that.
Or if there was an important event, as you said, that makes sense. I like it. We looked at the calendar
integration
future in terms of like trying to fit those daily like activity goals, let's say, into your calendar. Because like one thing about this whole thing is a lot of people already know what they need to be doing, but it's about building habits or how you like fit all these things into your own agenda on your own calendar. So we're still looking into that actually, but do
you see it being kind of like a AI health coach or not just health wellness coach that recommends best practices and helps you to integrate new routines and new habits throughout your day, maybe.
Yeah, for sure. And we want to be motivating you. And, you know, also, like, let's say you're on vacation, it'll be like, okay, like, you know, enjoy your vacation, but also, like, if you need help adjusting your plan, I can help you with that. Why don't you, like, upload the menu here, take a picture of the menu at the restaurant?
Right.
I'll help you choose the best options.
Yeah.
So,
you know, are you familiar with hardware devices that record audio? Like one of them is called Limitless, Pendant. There are other ones. You're familiar with those?
Yeah.
So that's another data point around not necessarily your biological metrics, but like what happens in your mind. Like you keep track of, or like you're measuring the meaning that goes through your mind and your brain, and what you hear, what other people are telling you, or what you're saying. And I think that's also an interesting data that we haven't really analyzed in the past. Like that has not been available for us.
I think that's very interesting. And this can be like a whole other conversation.
Yeah.
I do believe that the power of mind is like maybe the most important thing.
Yeah.
So I think those technologies are really fascinating, and let's see how
you know, I've been actually recording myself, like voice journaling, when I would go on the walk. And I would I in fact created a mini app for myself that basically records when I'm speaking while I'm listening to music on my walk. And the music I usually play like binaural beat sounds, just to put me more in the present state, more focused state. And that kind of opens up the channel for me to just spit out everything that goes through my mind. And then when I get home, the automation kicks in and it takes that whole transcript, and it's because usually it's unstructured. Whatever comes through my mind, I just verbalize. But then when I get home, I get an email with all of the things that I talked about nicely. Everything that I've basically talked about, but in a much more structured, organized way. So it's an instant feedback for me, like to understand like what went through my mind, and so I solidified that more.
What's that showing you?
What has that shown me?
There
are repeating patterns. It's also been very helpful with organizing my life and having more clear thinking. Oftentimes,
so I guess you realize how distorted our thinking is. No?
The mind is like a spaghetti, and you have to like untangle it. And we live in the perfect time for untangling our mind with AI. AI is so good at like processing large sets of data, like a transcript, and it gives you a very clear, like, this is what you're doing, this is what you should be doing. Look into this. AI could really be our guide or our advisor to enhance our lifestyle and enhance how we direct our energy. I think that's very useful.
Super. What's the app, by the way?
Well, it's like a make.com automation that I created for myself.
Oh, wow. You're very talented.
So there's no like a UI per se. I'm using a third-party voice recording app just that does regular recording, and then I upload through the app into my Dropbox. And then when I do that, then my whole automation kicks in. Like it looks into my Dropbox folder, grabs the file, sends it for transcription, like all of that, And so I started playing around with the Limitless Pendant device also, that I can also like.
How often do you do this?
A few times a week, I would say. Yeah, and I've been doing it for like more than a year now. So I've been collecting a lot of data. And that's also an interesting data point that most of us don't really have. So even like conversations like this, like as we're recording them, I'm also interested to know on a long-term basis, on like finding some patterns, some interesting relationships between how I communicate, how this, or like, so I have this idea of mapping out the full idea space, the whole mind space, kind of like a mind map, but a more sophisticated, where it has, let's say if it's a 3D map, kind of like a solar system with clusters of ideas and concepts, and you can drill down to specifics, and you can see relationships between them. And imagine you're like speaking in real time, and you can see branches are being built in real time. And it would be cool if both people been working on their own mind map for a little while. They've built already a fairly detailed maps, and then now you come together. AI could help you find right away the connecting points for the most amount of like meaningful collaboration or idea exchange or something like that.
Wow, that's really cool. Yeah, it would also be efficient in terms of like time and
collaboration is great. Like once AI, if both of your systems are aware of each other, they can really help you find meaningful points of connection in no time.
Well, what do you think about like maybe like losing our natural rhythms or that? Like
in what sense? Like in social sense? Like where you're
creating anything?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's enhancing it's changing, like
because I feel like I feel like we're like now controlling everything, and you know, like, so where's that natural process of creating?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think the point, I agree with you that humans throughout evolution have been focusing on how do we control more of physical reality so that maybe we feel safer, so that we feel that we can achieve more and things like that. But I think there will always be a domain in which we practice our free will. I hope it will stay that way. It gets into more subtle layers of reality. So I'll give you an example. Over time, humanity been dealing with a lot of physical matter. So let's say a few hundred years ago, mostly what people used to do is physical labor. They would do farming, they would do construction, like even looking at the architecture, 1,000 years ago, it was all based on like large rocks and stones that somebody had to almost like physically carry them. And over time, our tools became, our tools were placed in between physical reality to make it easier for us to handle physical reality, like leverage, lifting things, our machinery, like all of this. And so humans are doing less and less physical things, because they now have the equipment to control the physical more. But that doesn't mean that we've been losing our ability to exercise our free will, exercise our creativity. It just goes into layers that are non-physical. It's like this ethereal domain in which we spend more and more time. Yeah,
I think it's super interesting. Yeah. And you mentioned about safety, like physical safety. So is it more about creating mental safety?
Yeah, I think once you have a container of some sort that you feel like you are contained and there are boundaries, generally speaking, you feel safer. Even if you know that you have boundaries with others, and that you have clear, like, you don't allow yourself to go beyond a certain threshold of what's allowed. I think you feel safer generally, because if you don't know where your boundaries are, you always feel like you can fall off the cliff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, but I understand about the concept of we giving up more and more of our agency to AI, to our technology. And that's probably true too. Like, it's all true. Like, both things could be true, In some areas, we are giving up more agency. Like, for example, driving, like most of the time we're relying on GPS to get us places. We gave up the agency of actually deciding.
Yes, the instincts.
But at the same time, is that a natural, innate human ability to know how to navigate your car through man-made roads? I don't know, like
or like just to give you another. I mean, about instincts, I just thought of this, like with tracking, health tracking. Like like I wake up and I check my Oura ring, just to see how I slept.
Yeah.
I don't really ask myself anymore how I slept.
Okay, yeah.
And let's say I'm like tired, but the score is like high up. I'm like, okay, I slept amazing.
Yeah.
Even though I did.
Yeah.
So in a way, sometimes it's uplifting.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's like.
So what do we do then? Like, how do we then?
So what I started doing is I wake up and I'm like, let me guess my score. Like, let me do like an internal check-in.
Yeah. So I think that's a big topic, like giving up your agency to understand how well you feel. If your Oura ring or some other tracker is telling you have a perfect score, but you feel like shit. Like, what do you do with that?
Yeah. The other realization about that is daily stress. Like I was shocked when I found out what stress meant for the body. Like some days you'll have an amazing day, you'll have so much fun, but then you'll see in your trackers that you had a very stressful day because stress is perceived differently in your body. So
excitement and stress
as well,
are very different things.
Yeah.
Right.
No, but excitement can also be stress for the body. That's what I'm saying. Or like extreme happiness, or if you're super happy and jumping and dancing, that can also be stress.
Yeah.
Body.
And what does stress even mean? Is that only when your heart goes up, or is there other? What else does it mean? You think?
Yeah, like physiologically, your body changes and it's like put under like there's something going on, it's alerted and like, it needs to focus on that. And yeah, in a way, like everything is the same. Like sitting in traffic, you're not doing anything physical, but you're mentally like exhausted and angry and, and then you're happy and dancing, and it's the same for the body.
Yeah.
They're all the same.
So I like this concept of kind of like a credit score FICO for your health. You talk about that.
Yeah. So we see this as like the world's first credit score for longevity. And we want it to be almost like a score that you can give to your insurance company, to, to some brands that you're shopping from, etc. So almost like, how you check, even like, there are certain stamps that you check in your food. Like we want this to be almost like a benchmark for your own health. And the other thing is like, we're looking at it as almost like an investment model, finance. So similarly, like how you invest in your retirement plan, you put something like daily or monthly, for your retirement.
Yeah.
Same for your body, same for your health. You put whatever you can put in daily is like an investment for your future self. So that's why we see a lot of alignment with this like financial investment model and health investing.
It's like preventative medicine, you're saying? Like the higher your score, the cheaper your insurance should be, basically?
Yeah. And that's how it should be. And now like we're seeing new insurance companies coming out that are based on your lifestyle, not just your biology, but your like lifestyle. They can track you, and it's good for the insurance companies as well. And you can decide what you want to share with your insurance companies. Yeah. Like, why would you pay for certain things that you have very low risk for,
Yeah.
So it doesn't make sense for people anymore.
Yeah. So with the credit score, you are not the one measuring it, and you're not the one holding the record of it, and you're not in control for the most part who has access to it. can you tell me?
Not right now, but I mean, it's eventually going to be people's decision to share it with their companies, with their, and not just with the insurance, with their employees as well. Employers as well. Because, then your employer can also see, oh, okay, this person's a healthy person, it's a good investment.
Yeah.
Because, this guy takes care of himself. He's mentally probably in a good shape. So it's like the whole ecosystem.
Would not create some kind of discrimination based on health, though? Wouldn't you say?
How so?
Well, let's say you have two candidates, both of them perform as...
You mean like access to, like in terms of like both having access to health or not having?
In terms of like the employer might prioritize a healthy person versus unhealthy person.
Maybe it's a good thing, People should compete over their health. Like maybe it's a positive thing.
Yeah. We
compete over so many unhealthy things. So maybe for the first time in work environments, people will compete for their health.
Yeah, that's an interesting idea. Create a healthy competition around their health. Wellness, yeah.
And you see a lot of companies investing in corporate health. I have friends that consult companies, like they're hired to go and speak to their employees, and I feel like more and more companies are investing in their employees' health, which is really good to to see.
The competition now, I also thought about, what if it's a disabled person, right? Like you can't really compare them.
Well, you have to. Yeah, there must be rules.
Have some kind of rules, guardrails. Yeah,
for sure.
If there's, you can't really be comparing a disabled person with a healthy person. But then how can you tell?
But our idea with our B2B model is that employers can give can provide this app to their employees together with their health plans. So they actually are investing in their employees' health. So it's almost like a value added from the employers.
And what kind of future, if let's say what you're working on succeeds, what kind of future are you contributing to?
A healthier, younger future, for sure.
Yeah.
And more awareness, and also a future that people hold their own health into their own health. And so we want to make people in charge of their own health and be more proactive about their health.
Yeah, I see the future in which we all own our own data, like over the year, like in the Web 2 world, where companies like Facebooks and Instagrams and Googles of the world, they would gather a lot of data points about our behavior online and offline as much as they can get, and try to sell us more stuff. They would be the only ones benefiting from this data. We as consumers, we would get free services. By free, they're not really free, because we were then exchanging our private data in exchange for those services. But now I think first time ever we have the opportunity, similar how I'm doing it with the voice notes, like gathering my own voice notes and my own private storage, and then using AI then later to analyze. Ideally, it's my own private AI that I'm running locally on whatever, on the computer, on my phone or something like that. And then that analyzes my own personal data. And only if I decide, can I share it with somebody else, maybe through some kind of like a blockchain or like a smart contract or something like that, that you can share your data only for a certain period of time with a certain...
Share with family, yeah.
Yeah. It's great to have that like control over what you like, what you own, and and I think that's where we're headed, because now we have this ability to gather all of this data. We don't need like large data centers, and AI is helping us build applications on the fly almost. I see the future in which instead of us using like a third-party app that gathers all of this data, again, we have this one centralized personal AI agent that's serving you anything digital that you want on the fly. Like it can create a UI app that just interprets whatever data point that you need to understand or something like that.
Yeah. Also, like you go to a doctor today and they check your blood pressure and, they check your temperature, whatever. And it's just that in that moment, like they don't have any idea about prior to that, how your lifestyle is, again, like all these other factors in your life, your sleep, exercise, nutrition. So now, like I was, a couple months ago, I was at my, at a doctor's office, and I literally opened one of my, apps and like showed her like what I've been tracking.
Yeah.
And that kind of also changed the diagnosis, like her diagnosis and like, and her like conclusions. So, and she now knows like how my lifestyle is, my history and all that. Cause otherwise doctors don't really know much.
Right. Yeah, they're very limited data points. It's mainly missing. They just have a few data points in the graph, and then they try to like extrapolate or predict. Longevity. Do you see yourself or general like average human living much longer in the future?
Obviously there's I'm a spiritual person, and I believe that there's only a certain point we are in control of our lives.
Okay.
But we can do our best to live our best lives. And we can basically, as long as we are alive, how well can we live? That's what I'm more focused on than like the length. Yes, like I would love to live long, but I don't want to live long and sick. I want to live a healthy life. Mentally, physically, socially, emotionally, that's our focus.
And what if it's that plus living longer?
Yeah, I mean, you see, like everything in the current system is designed to make you sick and kill you like at a certain age, because insurance companies don't want to, pay for you. They don't want to deal with you. So then like if you look at the food system, the food is actually like the main thing that's killing us, right? So yeah, if we can win the battle over all those things, which is really difficult, but it's still possible. I'm optimistic that we can. I mean, this is what we are working on, and I know like we all need to come together to work on this revolution. But yeah, it would be possible to live longer for sure.
For those who are interested in getting kind of control over their health, and maybe they're recognizing that there's a lot of improvement to be made around their health. Maybe they feel a little bit unhealthy. Where would you start?
Start from tracking your sleep, your like start logging meals, like whatever you can, like just start putting a mirror to yourself. I would start I'll start by building a relationship with myself, getting to know myself before anything. I wouldn't like go onto Instagram and check one of these influencers and see what they're doing and start applying whatever they're doing in my life. That's
right.
That's not a good idea.
Right. So try to track as much about yourself, basically put a mirror in every aspect of yourself as much as possible, without really putting pressure on yourself to already have some meaningful insight. Just start to notice. First, like build a foundation of understanding how to read
understanding bio individuality, because we are all different.
And that will start revealing information or signal, useful signal for you.
You will get answers right there.
Especially now with AI and interpreting data, it's becoming easier and easier to, even like when you do like a blood test, before you had to only speak to the doctor or be knowledgeable yourself to how to interpret it. And now you can just like give it to ChatGPT.
People go, some people that I know, like that are more experts in this space, they go to the labs and give their own like test requirements, and then they take them and they put it on ChatGPT and other sources, and
yeah. Do you see the future in which we don't need doctors?
That's a good question. I mean, the AI is built on doctor protocols, so I think we still need doctors, but I think also like research and experiments are also like as important, because there's a lot of the trends that we see around today, a lot of them are lacking that scientific background. So we still need doctors and scientific explanations and protocols. Because what is AI? AI it's a rag pipeline behind, with protocols. So, but I think doctors, like now that we are working with some doctors, they're also realizing that they need to do something different, or they need to do more or something to adapt to this new world.
Yeah, I think the definition of a doctor is also changing, or the responsibilities of a doctor are changing, as AI is also like, and robotics and stuff will take over certain functions that, like surgery and stuff. I believe that most surgeries, if not all surgeries, will be done by a robotic arm, because the precision is going to be like a 10 times, if not more precise. Why would you give a human this job of like and then for what's left for doctor or for humans to do is to exercise our subtle skills of being a human, like emotional intelligence, feeling other people's state, and then maybe using AI and technology to direct your intent of healing. But the sensing, I think the subtle sensing, that's what the doctors will continue to be useful at,
Yeah, I mean, in terms of decreasing the errors, like human errors might be interesting. Also, the other thing is communications, right? Like a lot of people will have like questions after a surgery or after a diagnosis, and it's difficult to get back in touch with your doctor at times. So I think AI will also like help people like get their answers immediately, and kind of like have you heard of digital twins?
Yeah.
So like I think doctors will have their own digital twins, where their patients will be able to like communicate with outside those like appointment times.
For sure. I think not only doctors, we all will have.
Yeah, exactly. We all will have, but I was just thinking as the doctors.
Yeah. Even like.
It's kind of scary.
Scary? What part scares you?
I don't know. Like it's just like I feel like we're losing our virginity. Like we're like giving so much to AI that's there's no like off switch anymore. Like there's no like delete switch anymore, like it's AI is out there, and it's there's no return from this point. So in terms of that, it's scary in my opinion.
And it's scary because you feel like AI can take over and we can end up in a dystopian future? Or is it because we're losing agency? Like what part scares you about AI being always there? Kind of like air, it's just everywhere. It's kind of like internet in a way, right?
I mean, being human is also like comes with instincts, emotions and all that. And that's what's lacking. That's what AI is lacking. So I think that's kind of tricky. How do we transfer that to robots?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure our future tech will be much more
humanized
and sensitive to those subtle emotions and maybe even more sensitive than the human biological body.
You remember the movie Her?
Yeah.
You know, like this guy falls in love with this iOS, basically. But when it comes to the human touch, a real person is being sent by the iOS to his house. So there's I don't know, like there's only so much that, I mean, we're still humans, you know, or maybe we will lose our own essence eventually. Maybe the humans 50 years from now will not be like us.
Yeah.
Maybe they will lose from themselves as well, their essence as well. So
yeah, the way I see it is that
coming closer to each other, like the robots or AI and us, like, and maybe we meet at a point where we're a little bit of AI and they're a little bit of human. It's like a combination of that.
Yeah. I mean, like the idea of a cyborg, we already have cyborgs. I mean, our phone is extension of our brain. It's not yet integrated in our brain, but back to the digital twin idea, I like it from the perspective of digital. So if we all have digital twins, let's say you and I want to meet in person in a month, right? And there's a lot of coordination that has to happen. We have to look at our schedule. We have to plan this and that. And we have to, and so some communication has to happen. I have to text you and say, hey, are you available this day? This is not innately a human activity, like all of this coordination in complex 3D environment that we all live in, right? And so the digital humans and artificial intelligence should be helping us to it will take care of all of the unnecessary, not really human design. Like, yes, humans are doing those functions, but it's not innately a human thing to do, like driving or looking at your calendar. Those are not human things, you know, those are invented by humans. But if we didn't want to do them, we wouldn't be doing them. And so ideally, AI just does everything else. And we just have to show up and connect with other humans. We just like come in different spaces. It's all already figured out for us, you know. We just have to bring ourselves, bring our presence, and connect deeply to our other humans. I think that's a beautiful future. Like, why not?
But don't you think we still need to like feel satisfied with our lives?
Wouldn't that make you feel more satisfied?
Connecting with people only? I don't think so.
Well, I mean, connecting on different levels, like you might be collaborating on a project, you might be co-creating
so
something.
You're saying there will still be those kinds of things that you need to fulfill, like making money.
You might not necessarily have to worry about making money. You might be more interested in bringing positive impact into the world. Yes, money might be involved in the process, but your main objective is to bring positive change into the world, and AI is an amplifier of your intent. So you come together, you collaborate with other humans, you create new ideas, new visions for the future. What do you actually want to create? And then utilize the latest tech to bring that into reality.
I'm a little bit paranoid in terms of like, what am I giving up on while trying to have this life, you know?
Yeah.
So that's something that comes to mind, but
yeah. Do you feel paranoid when you're on the plane, for example?
Because I cannot control.
Yeah.
I try not to think about it.
Okay. I think that's going to be similar to AI in the future. Yeah. It's going to be safe enough for us to use it. Like, say it's safe enough for us to fly.
Think about it.
But not to think about all of the bolts and like how to control it and things like that. I think that's the way we're going to be perceiving those systems. We just want to make sure that they're safe, or they're safe enough for us to be comfortable. They're not going to be 100% safe. Nothing is 100% safe, you know, but they should be safe enough for us to say, yeah, this is good. Like I'm, you know, it's not 100% safe for you even to be in your own home. Things could happen, you know, like a comet can fall or like something.
True. It's true.
It just has to be safe enough for you to continue moving.
Yeah.
You know. So maybe in closing, maybe you can share what as like a takeaway. What would you like for the listeners to remember, or like a piece of advice, maybe, or a point from the conversation that we had, like you want to bring forward?
Yeah. Well, I've been building this longevity company for the last 3 years, and I've seen a lot. I've been going to these conferences. I met with some of the top experts in this field, and, I've been seeing data and, doing a lot of research. I'm also a certificated health coach. So one thing that I'm realizing is there's a lot of scam out there. So one thing that I would highly, highly, highly encourage people to do is like do your own research. Really like get to know yourself, understand your own unique biology, your background, your lifestyle and everything, and be honest with yourself when you look around, because like we live in an Instagram generation. I mean, we are a generation of like scroll addicts, and there's so much misinformation out there that is almost impossible to protect yourselves from. So I would say like try to stick to your own selves, your own truth. Listen to your bodies, and also like try to have fun with it, with your own journey. Like it's a trial and error, as I was telling you before our podcast. Like it's a journey, right? Like it's almost, some things are like hit or miss. Like you gotta like try, and we are also like constantly changing. So certain things that used to work amazingly on my body doesn't really work anymore, and I'm still in the process of like figuring out like what's working for me right now. So again, like I think it's a commitment to ourselves. Like if you want to have a healthy life without being perfect, like first accept that there's no perfection, and accept your humanity, and just understand that it's a journey. There's no like one way, there's no perfect way. And again, every person has a different bio-individuality. So remembering that, and putting like just small like small, accessible, like doable goals. One thing is that we love committing to impossible dreams. Like if you think about fat loss, for example, weight loss, for example, it's actually very simple, right? Like you look at the equation of how much energy you take and how much energy you burn. It's as simple as that. But it's nearly impossible for people to lose weight, because simple things are the most difficult things for people. So, and that's why we love adopting these complicated ideas to our lives, because it's usually a good excuse to like bail out from them, So I think I would stick to like simple things. Whatever you can do, pick one or two things, and remember to like reward yourself as well, and just accept that there are certain things that we cannot control, and give yourself permission to have fun in this journey.
Beautiful, thank you. And then how can people support you or find you? Any place to point them to?
So our app, the longevity app, is called Sense Longevity. It's in the App Store. And then me personally, my Instagram will guide people to different places, that, which you will probably put in the captions.
For sure, in the description.
It's my name and my last name, Cansu, Özgül.
All right, thank you.
Thank you so much. This was fun.
It was fun. Thank you, listeners, for staying around all the way till the end, and I'll see you on the next one.